Once again, thank you so much to everyone who's attended tonight for this amazing presentation. And I'll give it to Taylor to give us a wonderful presentation on Celestial.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Much appreciated. Hi, everybody. I am Taylor Henwood. I am the business development manager for the Southeast and based in Atlanta, Georgia. Really excited to go over the presentation with you, go over the company, where we go to, what we're about. So we are Celestial. Celestial has been in its current iteration for about 10 years, and we're a two-ship operation that specializes in going to the Eastern Mediterranean and the Arabian Gulf region. So when you're next time you're planning a trip to Greece, Croatia, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, these are places that we go to and specialize in. I'll go over kind of why Celestial. There's a lot of products out there for your next vacation. So what makes us different? And there's a few things that I think that really separate us from the other cruise lines. One is that we have quality mid-size premium vessels. Both of our ships are about 1,265 guest capacity, and we have value pricing for that size vessel. Plus, we spend quality time in port in the key areas that you want to go to. When I go over the itineraries, I'm going to show you exactly what that means, but just know that when you want to go to places like Santorini, Mykonos, Dubrovnik, when you're going over to places like Dubai, we spend more time in port than the competition does. So to go over, some of the things that you would do before purchasing a cruise with us is you would look at our different fare packages. What is included with the Celestial cruise? So we have a couple different fare packages that can make the cruise a more value proposition for you, or it would be something that you can make a little bit more all-inclusive. So if you ever go on our website and you're looking at our pricing, the Celestial experience on the left that you see there is what's included with the pricing automatically when you come on board with us. So you're going to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the main dining room restaurants. You also get included house wine, draft beer, juices, filter tea, and coffee throughout breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well. We have onboard entertainment every night. That's included. We don't have any kind of specialty like theaters that you have to pay extra tickets for. You also automatically get with us a $85 shore excursion per person in the room based on passenger one and two. And that could be used towards the cost of a shore excursion. So you get that automatically with the fare. And when you travel with us as well, you're also going to get the port charges and gratuities included with the package as well. Now, if you want to upgrade the package, we do have, based on a 7-day cruise, it's about $280 more per person. But you also get the option to get 25% off every single night at our specialty restaurants, which would be Pink Moon and Grill Seekers. You also then get an expanded drink list. So instead of just having beer, wine, and coffee with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can expand that to cocktails, beer, wine, specialty drinks across the ship with the enhanced drink package. With this, that would include more beer and wine. You get up to €7 in cocktails throughout the whole ship. So that's going to be included with the enhanced drink package and the plus experience that we have here. You also get a higher per diem with the shore excursion credit. So it goes from 85 per person to 170 per person for a shore excursion credit. Port fees and gratuities are still included, and then you also get Wi-Fi access. It's about an hour a day, or really about 7 hours for the whole cruise. And the way that Wi-Fi works with us on board is that we have Starlink, so we have really fast Wi-Fi on board, and you can sign in and out throughout the cruise. So if you want to use 15 minutes of Wi-Fi on your trip, you certainly can. You just log in, log out, and that just banks the rest of the time and rolls over throughout the rest of the cruise. So these are some of the different packages you can buy into with us. If you are not really into drinking or not really into drinking coffee, the package on the left might be the right one for you. But if you're into drinking cappuccinos, espressos throughout the day, having cocktails, the package on the right might be the best option for you. So our fleet. So as I mentioned before, with Celestial, we are a small operation. We're a boutique operation that specializes in the Eastern Med. We have two ships with us. So the first ship that I'll go over here is the Celestial Discovery. The Celestial Discovery actually just started sailing with us in March. So it hasn't been sailing the seas that long with Celestial. And it specializes in our 3 and 4 day itineraries, which I'll show a little bit later in the presentation. So anytime you're really looking at our 3 and 4 day cruises with Celestial, this will be on the Discovery. So note that we have 7 lively bars on board. We have a swimming pool, 4 different restaurants to choose from, as well as a full spa, and we also have a full gym on board. That's going to be all included with the package. The spa would be extra. The gym is also included with the cruise itself. What I'll do right now is show you a little bit about the Discovery by playing a video here for a few minutes, and then go over the journey, which will be the next ship. Okay, and so that is the Celestial Discovery. Here is an example of one of our staterooms on board. This is the balcony Cosmos cabin that we have. The balcony staterooms on board the Discovery are approximately 225 square feet to give you a sense of what they look like and the size here. That's kind of what you'll be expecting when you book into a balcony cabin on board. Next up, we have the Celestial Journey. So they're comparable in size. The Celestial Journey is actually a little bit larger in berth, but both are very close in terms of the occupancy that we have on board. So I was mentioning that we have quality mid-sized vessels. As you can see with the video, we they're very impressive on the inside, but we also only have 1,265 guest capacity with the Journey, and the Discovery is going to be about the same. So the size of the Journey is a little bit bigger, and it's also going to be dedicated to our 7 day cruises. So anytime you're looking at one of our 7 day cruises, going to either Croatia or the Greek Isles, even the Arabian Gulf coming this fall, you'll be sailing on the Celestial Journey most likely. Again, with the size of the ship, I'll show you kind of a video just to give you a sense of what the interior looks like. Some of the specialty restaurants are reoccurring, so you'll see some of them on the Journey as well as the Discovery, and I'll show you here. Okay, so that's a video of our celestial discovery. To go through the cabins that we have on board. So this would be an example of our interior stateroom that we have on board. They're actually very spacious. They're about 185 square feet for what an inside cabin is. It looks like an outside window, but it's actually a falsetto window. So when you're joining into the interior cabins on board, you'll have a nice falsetto window to kind of give you a sense of daylight when you're inside there. We also have the actual exterior cabins that are going to be about 205 square feet. Then we have our Junior Dream Suite categories. The great thing about the Journey is that we really jump up from the exterior cabins going to our Junior Suite cabins. And our Junior Suite cabins are going to be our entry level into the balcony categories, but I really think of them more in contemporary senses to be comparable to a mini suite. They're also about 230 square feet on average in size. What's hard to picture here is the balcony. If you look at the picture on the right, the balcony can pretty much comfortably fit, I'd say, 3 to 4 adults possibly on the outside, which is a very large balcony in contemporary sense. We also have grand suites, and these are going to be over 340 square feet on board as well. This would then be, if you look at the window here to the outside, from the left side of the photo to the right side of the photo, that would be the length of the balcony that we have on board. So this balcony on board actually can probably accommodate about 6 adults outside. It has a full table that could fit about 4 people, and then there's 2 lounge chairs as well in the back. So this is also going to give you an entry level into the what we have with our suite concierge service. So this is going to give you priority embarkation, priority disembarkation as well. 2 of my favorite features: luggage handling. You also get complimentary room service on board. So we do have suite categories on board with the Journey too. We have one of these on board, which is our Stargazer suite. The Stargazer suite, for people that are looking for the ultimate upgrade, would be over 900 square feet. So this is going to give you an example of our largest suite on board the Journey. As I mentioned before, we do have nightly entertainment on board both of the vessels with the Discovery and the Journey. We usually have about 2 shows a night, and the entertainment that we typically have would be I would describe it as Circus Soleil, not Circus Soleil, but Circus Soleil style entertainment that we have on board. So we do have nightly entertainment. What's not pictured here is we have casinos on both as well. So there's 2 casinos that we have on board. So we also have casino entertainment. Throughout the bars and lounges at night as well, we have entertainment throughout the bars and lounges that we have. And there's also quiet bars and lounges. So there's bars that we're not really playing music, so you can enjoy conversation. We also have some lively bars that if you want to dance, listen to music, we have that as well. That goes there on throughout the night on both the Discovery and the Journey as well. Pictured here, this is the pool deck, both pool decks actually on the Journey. The main one featured here with the Dolphins is the main pool deck. What's really nice about this one is that it's a fully retractable roof. So where there's ever inclement weather, it's a little chilly outside, a little rainy, they can fully close that so you can still enjoy the pool area. And there's also a pool area on the aft of the ship, which is I would consider more of the sun tanning area, but there's 2 pools on board the Journey as well. They kind of go over some of the extra, the additional restaurants that you can book on board besides the main dining areas. The first one we have is Smoked Olive. Smoked Olive is our Italian restaurant that we have on board. What's really nice about Smoked Olive too is that if you book the Junior Dream Suite and above, you get breakfast included in the Smoked Olive restaurant. So you can have kind of a semi-private area for the suite guests for breakfast in the morning. We also have Pink Moon, which is our Asian fusion restaurant on board. Grill Seekers is our steak restaurant that we have on board as well. And going into our itineraries. So this is the Adriatic. This is first up on the itineraries that we have for the Mediterranean. As I mentioned, Celestial specializes in sailing the Eastern Mediterranean and the Arabian Gulf. So this is the first set of itineraries that we have here. Okay, so this is our Heavenly Adriatic itinerary. So we go beyond the Greek Isles, going into the Adriatic Sea. Um, I won't go into every single port, but I'll highlight, as I mentioned, what makes us different from other cruise lines going to this part of the world is the amount of time that we spend in key ports. And one example of this would be looking at Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik out there, it's been a very popular destination for a while, but for your Game of Thrones fans out there, this would be King's Landing, otherwise known as Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik is a great city to visit, and I think it requires the most time in port. So we typically arrive around noon, but you can see that we don't leave until the next morning at 2:30 a.m. Why is this important? Uh, because Dubrovnik is such a popular area, you get to stay past everybody, all the other cruise lines leaving. So as the other cruise lines are setting off into the sunset, watching the sunset from their ships, you can actually watch the sunset from the walls of Dubrovnik as pictured on the left here. You can also have dinner in town if you want to. You can have the included dinner with us on board, or you can have go to a cafe in Dubrovnik, enjoy it there. It gives you options to explore the city at night with less crowds. So you'll see that as a reoccurring theme throughout our itineraries, are the different times that we spend in port. So Dubrovnik would be example number one. We also have a different option to go to the Adriatic, going to parts of Montenegro and Croatia that are a little bit different than the last itinerary. This one visits Venice. Uh, Venice is also a very popular destination. What makes us different from Venice than other destinations or other cruise lines that go here as well, is that we go to Marghera. Um, Venice has not allowed a lot of major cruise lines to dock inside of Venice for a few years. So that forces all the cruise lines to have to dock on the outside of Venice. And depending on the size of the vessel, not all ships can fit into the areas around Venice, around Marghera. So what does this mean? So a lot of the larger cruise lines have to dock into Ravenna, as pictured on the left, which is a 2.5 hour drive each way. So if you're ever looking at an itinerary to go to Venice, just pay attention to this because Ravenna is a very far drive and you're doing 2.5 hours each way. Because we're a mid-sized vessel with the journey, we can dock a little bit closer to Venice, and that's going to save you a lot of time. So where we dock in Marghera, which is just outside of Venice, is only about a 20-minute drive each way. So you would want to consider when looking at an itinerary that goes to Venice, whether you're going to drive 2.5 hours each way or you're going to drive 20 minutes each way. So I think this is a major upside to choosing us when going to Venice. We also go to the Greek Isles. We really specialize in going to the Greek Isles. If you've ever been on a Celestial cruise, chances are you've probably been to the Greek Isles with us. But I'll show you kind of the extensive nature of why the Greek Isles is our specialty here and all the different itineraries that we have to the Greek Isle. So, going into the different itineraries that we have going to the Greek Isles, the idyllic Aegean is kind of the bread and butter for our cruise line. This is our most popular itinerary that we have. So, in 2025, these are the different places that we go to. We go to Thessaloniki, which is a great region in the north of Greece. It's also the second largest city in Greece outside of Athens. Kusadasi in Ephesus, which is very popular for its Roman history, and then Santorini and Mykonos, which are typically the two most popular requested destinations. And also going into that reoccurring theme of how long we stay in port, you can see that we stay in Santorini from about 7 a.m. to about 12:30 at night. So we stay later in Santorini, which is great because if you've ever been to Santorini before, if you've ever done research on Santorini, there's only a few different ways to get to the top of Santorini, which is either cable car, donkey, or walking the cable car or the donkey path up and down, which is not always highly recommended. So, what's nice about that is when everybody else is leaving the island, you can also stay later. Don't have to worry about catching a donkey or the cable car down from Santorini. You can kind of wait out the crowd. Makes for a much more relaxing day. Same thing with Mykonos. Mykonos is a really great destination because it has two things it offers that typically you can't really get with other cruise lines. We get in really early, and there's two things that Mykonos is really known for are its beaches and its nightlife. So, what I like to think about when we go to Mykonos is that you get in early enough that you can enjoy the beach for the day. You can go back to the ship, take a nap, have a siesta, and then we stay till 2 a.m. in Mykonos. So you can go out at night, enjoy yourself. Typically, other cruise lines leave Mykonos anywhere from about 6 p.m. to about 9 p.m. So we stayed till 2. So when you're considering a vacation to go to Mykonos, just take a look at us because we stay pretty late. Milos is also a very hidden gem I would consider for the Greek Isles. It is absolutely beautiful shorelines, reminiscent of kind of moon craters. And if anybody's looking to go to the Greek Isles, Milos is probably one of the most underrated destinations you can look at as well. Going into the 2026 and 2027 season, the only really big difference here, going back, is that this year we're going to be going to Thessaloniki. So if you're considering going to Thessaloniki as a stop, we'll be going to Rhodes instead for our next year. So we'll be still going to Kusadasi, Crete, Santorini, Mykonos, Milos, but Rhodes would be the different city that we're going to starting in 2026. The other thing that's different from other cruise lines and us is that we offer beyond 7 day cruises, 3 and 4 day packages as well. So if you are looking to go to Greece for maybe just a week and you've never been to Greece before, chances are you probably want to spend maybe 2 to 4 days in Athens. There's a lot to see in the mainland of Greece as well. What's really great with the 3 and 4 day cruises is that you can package them on to other things as well. So if you want to stay into the central Greece, or you want to go to Athens, maybe you even want to go to Rome before, and then you want to see the Greek Isles. That's something that a lot of people do as well. This is an option that I would definitely consider. We have slightly different itineraries depending on the season. So around the April timeframe to October timeframe, we go to Mykonos, Kusadasi, Patmos, Crete, Santorini. In the summer season, we add different ports as well. So typically we just add Crete to the destination here for the summertime. So 4 day cruise as well. This is going to bring you to similar islands. The big difference between the 3 and 4 day cruise is just how fast you're going. Our 7 day cruises, you spend a lot of time in port. This is what I would call like a sampler cruise or like a tapas cruise. You're going to see a lot in a short amount of time. So our 3 day cruises go from Friday to Monday, and then our 4 day cruises go from Monday to Friday. The 4 day is kind of the sweet spot, in my opinion, where if you only have about 8 days to go on vacation, if you're limited to PTO, the 4 day cruise plus maybe 2 or 3 days in Athens is a really great way to experience most of Greece the way you would want to picture it. Something new that we also have going on this year is the Arabian Gulf. So this is something new for Celestial as well. Starting this year, we'll be going into the Arabian Gulf as the winter season. So Celestial used to just be seasonal basically between March and the November timeframe. So during the winter months now, we do have the Arabian Gulf as an itinerary, and I'll show you one of the itineraries that we have for this year. Okay, so these are some of the highlights of the ports that we go to. So, if you're ever interested in traveling to the Middle East, these are some great destinations. So, we go a round trip out of Doha and Qatar, places like Bahrain, Dubai, Oman, Surbani Yasi Island, and Abu Dhabi. Again, with how long we stay in key ports in Dubai, you can see here we actually spend more than 24 hours in Dubai. So you essentially use the ship as a floating hotel while in Dubai. So you get to experience the most time in port out of any of the itineraries in Dubai itself. Um, Places that are also really famous. Doha was recently it hosted the World Cup, so the city's been really built up around that. Some of the lesser known ports, for example, that you might see here, going like, where is that? Why should I go here? Surbani Yasi Island is actually a really cool destination because it's an island off the coast in the Arabian Gulf. That's owned by a wealthy Emirati that got really into wildlife. And as it goes over there, when they get into wildlife, they actually built a wildlife sanctuary there. So it's basically like an African safari for the day on that particular stop. So it's an African safari without having to go all the way over to Kenya or South Africa. So it's a really interesting destination to go to as well. Um, these are different offerings that we have. As you can see, we start going in November and also going into 2025 as well. Kind of going beyond the itineraries here. If you're a solo traveler, we do have really great solo traveling options with us. The way we have solo occupancy on board is that our interior staterooms and our ocean view staterooms, you can receive at 150% of the price. So essentially, you pay 100% for yourself as an individual, and then you get about 50% off that second passenger. So that's the way that we do our single occupancy on board. Our current fall savings right now. So if you go on our website, you can look at the different itineraries. We have cabins and suite up to 50% off for the first and second guest. When you start including third and fourth passengers, you can get up to 60% off as well. Okay, and that is my time for Celestial. I'm happy to answer any questions for people that are here live. Um, Going forward.
Thank you so much, Taylor, for that presentation. Um, like we said, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or you can also send us a DM on Facebook and we can get back to you with that information. Amazing, amazing product. Thank you so much for that presentation. And if you would like to book with one of our cruise.com travel advisors, give us a call at 866-468-6801. 866-468-6801, and one of our amazing travel advisors would love to book you on your next celestial journey. But that is our time for this evening. Thank you so much for coming out this evening and hanging out with us and learning more about celestial cruises.